Have you ever tried to wake someone up in the middle of a nice dream? The person gets startled, irritated, and feels lost for a moment. It's pretty much like that when we try to force someone's spiritual awakening when they are not ready yet. The chosen ones know this. They know because they have been pushed, ignored, and discredited, until they understood that awakening cannot be imposed. It must be lived. There is a flame that silently burns within those who awaken. An almost uncontrollable desire to shout to the world, "Hey, there is more than this rush, more than this chaos." But the world is still asleep, and that's okay. Forcing someone to see the light when their eyes are still used to the darkness hurts. It's not wisdom. It's ego disguised as good intention. The chosen ones have learned the difference, often in the hardest way. They understood that awakening is like a rare flower. It only blooms when it finds sunlight, water, and time. And time, Time is a silent master that teaches patiently and never rushes. It's not about being silent, but about knowing the right time to speak. About letting the example be louder than words. About trusting that what is true always finds those who are ready to listen. And do you know what is the most beautiful thing about all of this? The chosen ones do not give up. They simply change the way they love. They do not drag anyone. They walk ahead with their feet on the ground and their hearts ignited. If this message touched something inside you, it may be because you have already realized that awakening is not something to shout about. It pulses, and when it pulses strongly, it is impossible to ignore. Do you feel that you are part of this? Then welcome. Here, we do not teach truths. We share light. And if this light resonated with you, follow the channel. There is so much more to be awakened in your time, at the right time. Some things in life cannot be learned with words. They come through silence, through pain, through time. And when we talk about awakening, this truth becomes even clearer. It doesn't matter how much you want to help someone. Their heart needs to be ready to listen. The chosen ones learn to respect this. And that's why they follow a rule as simple as it is wise. Try 3 times, just 3, and then let go. It's not giving up. It's trusting. It's understanding that insisting too much can close doors that were still ajar. The human soul is delicate, and when it feels pressured, it shuts down, even if the intention is good. The first attempt is like an invitation, a whisper. You show a new path, gently, without imposing. Maybe the person looks, maybe they don't notice. But the seed has been planted. In the second, you touch again. You share something, an experience, a story. Without pointing fingers, without expecting a return. You simply plant another little seed with care. It's just another chance for that soul to listen differently. The third is the last touch. A gesture of love. I'm here if you need. And that's it. You did your part. Truly. Forcing more than that is no longer light. It's disguised control. Many people confuse helping with pushing. But not every push moves you forward. Some push away. The chosen ones understand this because they have been on both sides. They have tried to force. They have felt pressured too. It's hard to watch someone suffering in the dark when you have already seen the light. You want to pull them by the hand to speed up the process. But awakening does not respect haste. It happens at the rhythm of the soul. And there's more. The other person is not always prepared to hear from you. Sometimes it's another person, another situation, another pain that will spark that flame. And that's okay. You don't need to be the hero of everyone's journey. The rule of 3 attempts also protects you. It prevents you from wasting your energy trying to save those who do not yet want to be saved. Being light does not mean extinguishing yourself for others. It means shining, even if no one sees. This rule is a reminder. Your role is not to convince, it's to inspire. Whoever is ready will feel, they will seek, they will ask. And then you can guide, with love, with truth, with presence. The chosen ones are like gardeners of the soul. They plant with care. They know that each seed has its own time. Some sprout quickly, others lie dormant for years until they find the right soil, the right water, the right sunlight. And it's okay if you never see the flower. What matters is that you planted with intention, with respect, with awareness. That is already being part of someone else's awakening, even if they never know. The beauty of this rule lies in the delivery. You do your part and let go. Without attachment, without demand, without frustration. You trust the process, the timing, and the journey of each being. This wisdom is ancient, and it remains alive because it is true. It invites us to act with love and to let go with faith. And that is all we can do. To love without invading, to offer without expecting, to illuminate without blinding. We can even wish the best for others. We can love, care, and worry deeply. But wishing is not deciding, because in the end, each person walks with their own feet. Each one chooses their own time, their own way, their own awakening. And this, no matter how hard it seems, needs to be respected. This is one of the most sacred laws that the chosen ones learn. Free will cannot be touched. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced. It is respected, even when the heart asks for the opposite. It seems simple, but it is not always easy. Especially when you can already see the abyss that the other does not yet see. When you have already gone through the fire, through the shadow, and returned with a lit lantern, you feel the urge to hand that light to the other person, urgently. But it doesn't work that way. It is painful to watch someone move towards suffering, ignoring all the signs, turning away from the answers that are there, wide open. You want to scream, to hold on, to stop them. But the soul learns through experience, through the journey, not through speeches, not through desperate attempts to show what it is not yet ready to see. The chosen ones understand this in time. They realize that there is something much greater governing all things, something that does not fit the ego to understand. The freedom to make mistakes, to fall, to rise, to feel, to choose. Even if the choice seems wrong in our eyes, to interfere with this, even with good intentions, is to tamper with something sacred. It is wanting to cut the process in half. It is assuming a role that is not ours. And any stolen role, sooner or later, exacts a price. To force someone to awaken is like trying to open a flower with your fingers. You might force the petals, but you will destroy the beauty of the bloom. You will interrupt the natural cycle of transformation. You will hurt the process that only time could reveal. Free will is not just about big decisions. It reveals itself in the small choices of everyday life. In the yes we say without wanting to. In the no we avoid out of fear. In the silence we choose to maintain when we do not yet have the strength to speak. Each soul carries a unique path, an invisible story, lessons that cannot be replaced by advice. Even when everything seems obvious to you, perhaps the other still needs to stumble one more time, to feel again, to fall deeper, so that they can look up and finally see the light. It's hard to watch from the outside, but it is also an opportunity to learn that empathy is not carrying the other on your shoulders. It is walking alongside them. It is offering a shoulder, not a map. We learn a lot by observing, but we only truly understand when we feel it in our own skin. That's why the chosen ones do not invade. They wait. They make themselves present. They offer love without demanding anything in return. And this love is the soil where awakening can one day blossom. Freedom is a gift that not everyone knows how to use right away. But still, it remains a gift. And no one has the right to take that away from another, not even in the name of good. Being available with an open heart, without expectation, without wanting applause or results, just with love. Because true love does not suffocate. It breathes. It gives space. It respects the other's time, even if that time is painful to witness. And the most beautiful thing of all, when someone chooses to awaken on their own, the journey is different. It is stronger, more true, because it came from within. And everything that is born from within, no one can take away, no one can destroy. It is deep-rooted. The chosen ones are like lighthouses. They do not rush into the sea, trying to rescue all the drifting boats. They simply shine, firm, silent, and whoever is ready will see that light. They will follow of their own accord. And then, yes, the miracle of the encounter happens. You are not responsible for anyone else's decision, but you are responsible for keeping your light on. And that, just that, already transforms everything. A soul at peace has the power to illuminate without saying a word. So, the next time you feel the urge to change someone, breathe. Place your hand on your chest, and remember, each soul has its dance with the universe, its rhythm, its silence, its time. You do not need to dictate the steps, you just need to trust the music. Much we explain only makes sense after they are lived, and karma is one of them. It is not punishment, it is not a reward. It is a path. It is the reflection of everything that has been. The energy we planted yesterday coming back today to teach, adjust, and heal. The chosen ones do not judge the karma of others. They recognize it. They know that each soul carries stories that the eyes cannot see. Scars that do not show, forgotten promises, old ties, and all of this shapes the road that the person needs to walk now. Even if it seems crooked, even if it seems lonely. Suffering often is not a mistake. It is part of the remedy. It is the way the soul finds to remember something it lost long ago. A silent rescue of who it really is. Trying to interrupt this before the time is like cutting a butterfly out of its cocoon. We think we are helping, but we are taking away the strength that only comes with effort. Karma is like that, a sacred process of invisible growth. The chosen ones have tried to skip stages. They have wanted to save someone from pain. And over time, they have realized that it doesn't work that way. Each one needs to face their own shadows to find their own light. There is a right time for each wound to open, and another for it to heal. Neither is comfortable, but both are necessary, and awakening often comes after that, when the pain has fulfilled its role. It is not about deserving or not suffering. It is about recognizing that there are lessons that only come through contrast, through absence, through repetition, and that behind every stumble, there is a correction being prepared. When you observe someone living a heavy cycle, the urge to interfere can be strong. But the chosen ones take a deep breath. They look with compassion, and they move on, because they know that interrupting someone's karma can generate a new one, and now it's theirs. Every time we try to carry someone else's burden, we risk forgetting our own, and ours needs attention, presence, awareness. It is there that our own awakening resides. Respecting the karma of others is recognizing the journey without needing to control the destination. It is looking at someone else's pain without drowning in it. It is trusting that even in chaos there is an invisible order at work. The soul knows what it is doing, even when it seems lost, even when it repeats patterns, even when it runs away from itself. Eventually it hears the call, Because karma does not stop calling. It just changes its tone. The chosen ones do not demand change. They offer light, and they move forward steadily, even if no one follows them. Because they understand that silent example carries more strength than any speech about what is right. Honoring the karma of others is a way of loving without attachment, without needing to fix things, without wanting to control. It is believing that each soul, in the end, will find its way back home, in the time and in the manner that is needed. Have you ever tried to help someone with all your soul, and in return received silence, contempt, or even a mocking gaze? It's strange, it hurts, but it also teaches. It teaches that not every act of love is well received, especially when it comes too soon. The intention may be beautiful, but if the delivery is pressured, the effect is the opposite. It repels. The chosen ones learn this in practice, not because they want to, but because they need to. Because they have insisted where it was not the right time. They have spoken too much. They have become frustrated trying to wake up someone who was still dreaming and thinking the dream was real. Pressure, even when it comes from a good place, hurts. Even if it is disguised as care, it imposes, and everything that imposes blocks. Because the human heart does not open through force. It blooms through trust. When someone feels that they are being pushed towards something they did not ask for, the instinct is to resist. It does not matter if what is being offered is good. The problem is not the content, it is the timing. And timing is everything. Awakening does not happen through arguments, nor through insistence. It happens through a subtle touch, through inspiration, through presence. When you force it, the other person feels diminished, as if they are incapable of getting there on their own. And no one likes that feeling. Pressure can turn affection into control, interest into invasion, help into a threat. Even if that is not the intention, it is what is felt from the other side. And then, what was meant to heal ends up hurting. How many times has someone needed to distance themselves from you because they felt pressured, even though all you wanted to do was help? It is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to learn from this. The chosen ones understand this boundary. They realize that silence often speaks louder, that waiting, even when uncomfortable, is wise, that giving space is a deep act of respect. Because no one blossoms when they feel suffocated. True love does not demand, it offers. It says, "I'm here if you need," and then waits in peace, with an open heart, but no strings attached, without wanting to shape the other into their own image. The reverse effect of pressure also teaches humility. It shows that you do not have all the answers, that your truth may not be the same as the others, and that this does not make you less awake. It makes you more human. The chosen ones know that example is compelling, that living with integrity touches more than any advice, that being present is more effective than being insistent. Those who are ready will draw nearer, they will ask, they will want to know more. And then there will be true openness, a sacred space for real sharing, without defenses, without blocks, without struggle. But this space only opens when there is freedom, when there is respect, when the other feels that they can come, but they can also choose not to. And that's okay. Pressuring is fear disguised as urgency. Fear of losing the other. Fear of seeing someone getting hurt. But fear is never a good advisor. It shortens your vision. It rushes time. It sabotages the process. The chosen ones take a deep breath in the face of this fear, and they let go. With faith, with surrender, with love. Because they know those who need to come will come, in the right time, and when they come, it will be of their own will. The chosen ones do not need to speak much. They live what they believe. And just that is enough for others to start questioning, reflecting, and feeling. They have understood that true inspiration comes from example, not from imposition. There is something powerful about someone who walks with presence, without wanting to prove anything, without trying to convince anyone, just being. When you impose a truth, you create resistance. Even if the content is good, the way it arrives can push people away. The other person's soul feels when there is pressure, and it protects itself. It closes the door, it retreats. But when you inspire, everything changes, because there is no demand. There is no urgency. There is a light energy that invites but does not force, that shows but does not require, that shines but does not blind. To inspire is to live in such alignment with your essence that others notice. They feel it, not because you said it, but because you transmit it. Through your calmness, your gaze, your way of dealing with life. The chosen ones do not want an audience. They want presence. They know that someone's awakening does not depend on ready-made speeches, but on real moments, on silences that touch, on actions that speak louder than 1,000 words. And when someone is ready, it only takes a light phrase to open a door, a phrase spoken without the intention to teach, just to share, without ego, without mission, just truth. The world is already full of people trying to impose their truths. What is lacking are people who live with coherence, who show that it is possible to live differently, without needing to point fingers at anyone. To inspire is to offer space. It is to create a safe field where the other can listen to themselves, where they can realize what makes sense to them, without fear of making mistakes, without fear of being judged. There is no magic formula. There is no step-by-step guide. But there is something that never fails: authenticity. When you are aligned with what you feel and live it truly, the universe responds, and people notice. The chosen ones do not light the light in the eyes of others. They simply keep their own light on. And it is this light that guides, that touches, that invites those who are ready to awaken as well. There is no urgency. There is no control. There is trust. And that is everything. There comes a moment when the chosen ones learn to let go. After so many attempts, so many gentle touches and silent hopes, they discover that there is something stronger than any word. Time. Time heals. Time shows. Time awakens. But it cannot be rushed. And that is why planting the seed is enough. The seed is small, almost invisible. Sometimes it seems that nothing has happened. But those who plant with intention plant in sacred soil. Even if the other does not notice. Even if the other does not react. The energy has been left there, and it will work, in its own way, at its own time. The chosen ones do not plant to harvest. They plant because they believe, because they know that each soul has its cycle, its season, its own spring, and forcing the sprout before its time only delays the flower. And the feeling, the feeling comes slowly, almost always in silence. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will want to listen. And that's okay. The role of the chosen one is not to convert. It is to walk. It is not to convince. It is to remain lit. The presence of someone who has already awakened in itself is an invitation, but never a demand. It is like a lit candle in the midst of darkness. Those who are ready will approach. Those who are not will continue on their path, perhaps to return later. There is no right or wrong in this. There is time, and when time is respected, it flourishes. It does not need to be pushed. It needs space and trust. The seed you plant today may seem forgotten, but one day without warning, it sprouts. In the midst of chaos, in the midst of pain, in the middle of any night. And then, everything makes sense. And you won't even be there to see it. But you will be present in essence. Because it was you who planted. It was your presence that left a mark. It was your silence that allowed the other to listen to themselves. The beauty of awakening is this. It does not happen in noise. It does not arrive through force. It insinuates itself. It whispers. It lightly touches and waits to be noticed. The chosen ones live with this understanding. They know there is no rush, that the now is enough, that each step taken in awareness is a step that resonates in the field of all. Sometimes we ask ourselves, did it make a difference? Did anyone see? Was it worth trying? The answer lies in calmness, in letting it be, in trusting that the seed has memory and silent roots.